million years ago that where the Rocky Mountains are today was the floor of an inland sea. There were no Rocky Mountains 70 million years ago. And these northeast flowing rivers that came out of the Mogollon Highlands were flowing into the sea, but the sea was in Colorado. And once that sea retreated to create the Gulf of Mexico, these rivers just followed the shoreline. And for a few million years, it's very likely that the rivers headed northeast across Sedona went into the Gulf of Mexico, essentially a part of the Mississippi River system. But I say only for a few million years did they do that, because 65 million years ago, the Rocky Mountains started to come up and they blocked the way to the Gulf of Mexico. And then these huge inland lakes began to form right where the three states of Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah come together. And for many million years, these rivers were still flowing northeast, but they were going into freshwater lakes. And then beginning about 30 million years ago, we lose track of what these rivers do because we don't have any deposits. And there's a whole gap in our understanding that goes from about 30 million years ago until about 16 million years ago, where we don't have deposits on the landscape that can tell us what rivers were doing. But isn't it interesting that that gap in the rock record begins at 30 million years ago, and that's the age that we're talking about for the Mogollon Rim. And so the erosion that created the Mogollon Rim likely disrupted these rivers going to the northeast, and when they were deflected away, they left just very minor deposits on the landscape. Give that lady a graduate degree for asking that question.
Okay. Okay, this is from George Cleland. Is the Mogollon Rim gradually moving north, and what would you postulate about the future region's geographic future in, say, 10 to 15 million years?
I would say that yes, the Mogollon Rim probably is still eroding back to the north, but you know, the farther you try to project forward in time, there's so many variables that can change what might be affecting something like this. But from my studies at House Mountain, I was able to determine that the average rate of retreat for the last 15 million years was about 1 foot of the rim is moving back to the north every 625 years. And then that lava flow that I showed you on top of Horse Mesa, that's only 6.5 million years old, I measured the edge of that lava flow back to where the rim is today, and the average rate of retreat for that was about 600 feet up. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here now. 1 foot every 600 years. And that's very similar to the rate from the House Mountain volcano. So at the rate of about 1 foot every 600 years, we can expect that maybe the edge of the Mogollon Rim might arrive in Flagstaff about 79 million years from now. But again, there's so many variables that could change all of this. I mean, what if volcanoes begin to erupt on the Mogollon Rim and they bury it, and then they're going to preserve it underneath all that volcanic cover? The rim is retreating at about the rate of 1 foot every 600 years.
Okay. Gary Rasmussen asked, where did the volcanoes capping the sandstone immediately north of Highway 89A and Sherman Mountain come from?
Sherman Mountain is also a volcano, and it is the same age as House Mountain. And it has the same chemistry as House Mountain. And it too is a volcano that erupted at the edge of a block of red rock. And so its crater or its vent is located very close to where there was a cliff of red rocks. And it's about the same age as House Mountain. I did not study that one in detail, and nobody has looked at it in detail, but we do know its general age. I don't know if I missed part of his question or not, but I did hear the part about Sherman Mountain.
Sherman Mountain, yeah, north of Highway 89.
Yeah.
So Peter Flynn wants to correct something that you said earlier about carbon 14. Really, it has 6 electrons, and 14 has 6 protons and 8 neutrons. I bagged out of. I went into electrical engineering. I didn't do any chemistry, so I don't know I don't know.
Well, I knew when I was saying that I might have been wrong, because really chemistry is not my thing. But I did mean to say that the 14 does represent something specific about the atom of the carbon. So thank you for that correction, Peter.
8 and 6. Okay, so that's a combination between the electrons and the protons.
Yes, thank you for that.